Listen carefully, my friend, because what I'm about to reveal will flip everything you thought you knew about women. Women carry secrets they'll never confess to your face. You think you know her, the girl you text every night, the woman who swears she loves you, the one who says you're her only choice. But behind the sweet words and the soft touches, there's a hidden playbook, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the brutal truth. Women are not the fragile, innocent creatures you were raised to believe. They are strategic. They are calculating. They have patterns of behavior they would rather die than admit, because the moment men understand these secrets, the game collapses. Most men live blind. They get replaced without warning. They get used without realizing. They get bored of without a reason. And when it finally hits them, it's already too late. She's already moved on. She's already rewritten the story in her mind, where you were just a chapter, not the book. But you're here, and that changes everything, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to rip the mask off. I'm going to expose the 5 forbidden secrets women never wanted you to discover. These aren't opinions. These are patterns so deep they shake the foundation of every relationship you've ever had. Watch carefully, because once you see these truths, you'll never look at women the same way again. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to stop being the man who gets played and start being the man no woman dares to underestimate. Let's begin. Number 1, she always has a backup man waiting. Listen carefully. If you think you're the only man in her life, you're already playing blind. Women almost never stand on one branch without another in sight. There's always a man in orbit, a co-worker, an ex, a friend, who's too eager, waiting for his moment. He's the safety net, the insurance policy, the backup plan. Men are taught to give everything to one woman, to prove their love, to sacrifice. Women, they're taught never to be left behind, to secure the next step before they let go of the current one. It isn't about love, it's about leverage. This is what most men can't face. She can swear you're her only choice, but behind the smile, she keeps doors cracked open. It's not about cheating, it's about options. That secret awareness that says, if this fails, I have someone else. And that quiet backup changes how she treats you. She never invests fully. She never respects completely. Because in her mind, she already has an exit. That's why breakups feel like betrayal. One day she's all in, the next she's gone, and somehow there's already someone else. You're left stunned, asking what went wrong. But it wasn't sudden. It was calculated. She never truly let go of the other branch. The truth? You're not competing with just the men you can see. You're competing with the invisible safety net she holds in her head. And if you don't wake up to this, you'll always be the man who gets replaced without warning. So what do? You stop assuming loyalty is guaranteed. You stop begging for respect. And you start carrying yourself as a man who doesn't cling. Because once she feels you're the kind of man who doesn't need her, that safety net loses its power. Here's the raw truth. Women always have someone waiting in the shadows. But the men who know this don't get blindsided. They don't chase, they don't beg, they don't play the fool. They move first, and that's why they win. Number 2, she chooses power over love every time. Quick question. If a woman had to pick between the guy she says she loves and the guy who makes her feel safer and more powerful, who wins? Type it below. Now here's the harsh reality. Women rarely choose purely out of love. They choose out of survival. Love feels nice, but power protects them. That's why the man who provides status, security, or influence will often outlast the man she swore she loved with all her heart. It's not that she's lying when she says she loves you. She probably does, in that moment. But when the balance shifts and another man offers her a greater sense of control, stability, or elevation, love becomes negotiable. This is the engine behind hypergamy. Most men think it's about shallow gold digging, but it's deeper. It's not just about money, it's about the hierarchy of safety and power. Women instinctively seek the man who can place them in the strongest position. That's why she can cry in your arms on a Friday, swearing you're the only one, and by Monday she's texting the guy with more reach, more ambition, or more influence. You've seen it happen. The loyal guy, steady but average, gets abandoned when the ambitious outsider appears. The boyfriend who sacrificed for her gets swapped out for the one who offers a bigger future. It's brutal, but it's patterned. Love is emotional. Power is survival, and survival always wins. The mistake men make? Believing her words over her instincts. She'll tell you love is enough. She'll swear she'd never trade comfort for power. But when tested, the truth comes out. That's why men who lean only on emotional connection get blindsided. Because connection fades the moment a bigger power source enters the room. So here's the real masculine frame. Never compete on words of love. Compete on presence, direction, and power. Not the flashy kind, the kind that makes her feel her world is stronger with you in it. Because if you don't stand as power, you'll eventually be replaced by it. Number 3, she's talking to more guys than you think. Here's a brutal reality check. When you think you're the only one, chances are you're not. Most men imagine exclusivity far earlier than it actually exists. They assume that just because she's texting back, going on dates, or even getting intimate, that she's locked in. But in her world, options are insurance, and until she's fully invested, she keeps those doors open. Think about it. She doesn't delete those DMS. She doesn't cut off attention. She doesn't stop posting selfies that bait comments. Why? Because attention is currency, and she knows the value of keeping multiple streams flowing until one proves worthy of complete focus. This isn't about her being evil, it's about instinct. Women are survival-oriented, and survival means hedging bets. If you fail, she's already got another conversation ready to keep her entertained, validated, or even lined up as the next candidate. Here's the deception. She'll tell you you're special, but the truth is, she's managing a roster, not always physically but emotionally. That's why you'll feel that weird coldness sometimes, that gap between her words and her energy. Because while she's with you, her phone lights up with another man's name. She may not be cheating, but she's never putting all her eggs in one basket. And this is where men get blindsided. They overestimate exclusivity. They mistake attention for loyalty. They confuse intimacy for commitment. But commitment, for her, is delayed until she's certain you outclass the competition. Until then, she plays the field quietly, strategically, invisibly. Here's the harsh truth. If you're not the man she's chasing, you're just one of the men she's entertaining. And if you don't bring clarity, direction, and presence, you'll get cycled out without even realizing she had a rotation. So, the masculine reframe: stop assuming, stop overestimating. Recognize that exclusivity is earned, not assumed. Your focus shouldn't be on chasing her into narrowing her options. It should be on being the man whose presence makes all her other options look like distractions. Because when you're truly in that frame, she doesn't need to juggle. She chooses. Number 4. Her interest dies faster than yours. Be honest, my friend. Who do you think gets bored in relationships faster, men or women? And why? Type your answer below and don't hold back. Here's the reality. Women's interest in relationships burns hot, but it burns fast. The same intensity that makes her obsess over you in the beginning is the same energy that fades quicker than most men can process. Men are built for consistency, for endurance. We can stay locked into one rhythm for years. But women, their psychology is wired for novelty, stimulation, and emotional highs. Once that emotional high drops, the same woman who once swore she couldn't live without you suddenly acts like you're invisible. And here's where men get blindsided. They think love equals permanence. They assume if she's happy now, she'll stay happy tomorrow. But a woman's attention span in relationships is like quicksilver, exciting, intense, and then gone before you realize it slipped through your fingers. This isn't about her being cruel, it's about her nature. Evolution wired women to seek the strongest signal of value in the moment, not to sit still forever once they've chosen. The mistake men make is trying to fight this boredom with comfort. They buy more gifts, they plan more dates, they become more available. All it does is accelerate the collapse, because comfort is the enemy of excitement. Women lose interest not because you're unworthy, but because you became predictable. Here's the brutal truth. Her boredom is not a signal for you to do more. It's a signal for you to do less, to step back, to create space, to make her wonder again. Men who hold their ground, who don't bend to every wave of her changing emotions, become the exception. They're the men who keep her hooked, even when the novelty wears off. So when she starts pulling away, don't chase, don't panic, don't overcompensate. That's exactly what most men do, and that's why they get discarded. Instead, let her boredom reveal itself. Let her face the silence of her own fading interest. And when she realizes that you're not scrambling for her approval, that you can walk away without hesitation, that's when her interest comes crawling back. Because here's the hidden truth. Women don't get bored of men who remain a mystery. They get bored of men who reveal everything too soon. Number 5. She cheats when you least expect it. Here's the truth men don't want to face. Women cheat, and not when you expect it. Most men think it happens because the relationship is broken or because she's already halfway out the door. But the reality, women cheat when everything looks normal, when you think the love is solid, when you feel the safest. That's why it hurts the most, because it comes from nowhere. And unlike men, who usually cheat for physical reasons, women's betrayal is psychological. It's driven by validation, by curiosity, by the emotional spark of someone new giving her attention. A woman can sleep next to you every night, say, "I love you" in the morning, and still be texting another man behind your back. She compartmentalizes. She convinces herself it's not real, and that's why most men never see it coming. Here's the part most men refuse to believe. Women cheat at almost the same rate as men, but they hide it better. They're more strategic, more secretive, more protected by society. When a man cheats, he gets judged. When a woman cheats, excuses are made. She wasn't happy. He wasn't meeting her needs. It's betrayal dressed up as justification. The mistake men make is thinking loyalty is guaranteed once they lock her down. They treat commitment like a cage that guarantees faithfulness. But cages don't stop betrayal. They only make it easier to hide. The stronger play is to stop assuming loyalty and start commanding respect. Because when a woman truly respects you, when she feels the weight of losing you, her calculation changes. She knows if she cheats, it's not just a mistake, it's the end. That's the mindset difference. Weak men try to prevent cheating by controlling her. Strong men prevent cheating by controlling themselves, by being the man who will walk away without hesitation. That threat of absence is more powerful than any promise of love. So remember this: women don't cheat when they're unhappy. They cheat when they think you won't leave. Don't ever let her believe that. Most men will hear everything I just exposed and still go back to sleep. They'll convince themselves their girl is different. They'll ignore the signs. They'll keep handing out blind loyalty, hoping it buys them respect. And that's why they stay stuck, being replaced, being used, being disrespected in silence. But not you. You didn't watch this far by accident. You're here because something inside you knows the mask has to come off, and once you've seen behind it, you can't unsee it. That's the edge. That's what separates the men who get played from the men who write their own rules. Every secret I revealed wasn't about women. It was about you, about sharpening your awareness, about building a backbone that doesn't bend when the game gets dirty. Because women will always have their strategies, but the only question is this: will you keep playing blind, or will you stand up as the man who can't be fooled? Remember this: the moment you stop chasing validation and start commanding respect, the entire dynamic flips. The power is yours. The control is yours. The silence becomes your weapon. And the man who learns to walk away becomes the man no woman dares to betray. Now, if you felt this truth, here's what to do. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to see how awake you really are. Smash that like button if you're done tolerating disrespect. Subscribe now, because the next video will take you even deeper. And share this with a man who needs to hear it, because most never will. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. And from this moment on, you know too much to ever go back.